Good morning. Sylvia's here.
Holden's here.
Mayor Coleman is here.
Good morning, Commissioners Holzman and Coleman.
Good morning, y'all.
Roop's here.
Good morning, Commissioner Roop.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning. This is a meeting of the Public Service Commission that's about to start at 10:15.
Okay, great. That's what I'm waiting for. Thank you.
Bill Kenny's having a little trouble with the access code, so he'll be joining shortly.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Kenny's here.
Good morning, Commissioner. We are all in attendance, and we have a full agenda today with 7 orders, 2 case discussions, and 1 other discussion. So we will go ahead and get started.
I'm trying to listen to it that I'm just supposed to listen to, but I can't get any service. What the hell?
Yeah, we need everyone to please mute their phones so that we can continue with our meeting. Again, due to COVID-19, the Commission will continue conducting agendas via WebEx for the foreseeable future. Again, I would ask those participating on the call, please mute your phone unless you need to speak. The first order of business today is the approval of minutes from September 9th, 2020 agenda. You all have seen those. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from September 9th, 2020, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved 5-0. Again, we have 7 tariffs and new orders today. So first up is file number AW 2021-0064. This is in the matter of the establishment of a working case for the review and consideration of amending the Commission's rule on electric, gas, and water utility standards of quality. Staff has requested a working case to be opened to review and collect comments regarding the rule, a rule amendment of 20 CSR 4240-10.030, which is the Commission's rule on the standard of quality for electric, gas, and water utilities. Specifically, staff is looking at quality of standards for alternative gas, such as biogas, landfill gas, and biomethane. So this order grants the request by opening a working case. This is not a contested case, and anyone may file comments without ex parte concerns. So I support this order as drafted, version 1. Commissioner Kenny?
I'm in support as well.
Commissioner Roop?
I am in support.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in support.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted, version 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number GA 2021-0010. This is in the matter of the application of Spire, Missouri for a certificate of convenience and necessity to construct, install, own, operate, maintain, and otherwise control and manage a natural gas distribution center to provide gas service in Cass County as an expansion of its existing certificated area. So Spire is seeking a CCN for gas service in Cass County. Spire plans to extend service to industrial customers in an industrial park and extend services to a commercial customers with potential to also serve residential. Staff has reviewed the application and recommended that it be approved. No other comments were received. Reviewing the request, I do believe that there's a need for the service and that Spire is qualified and financially able to provide such service. The plan is economically feasible and in the public interest. So I support the order granting the CCN version 1. Commissioner Kenny?
I'm in support.
Commissioner Roop?
I am support.
Commissioner Coleman?
I support the order.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
All right. All those in favor of approving the order as drafted, version 1, say aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number GO 2020-0416. This is in the matter of Spire, Missouri, Inc.'s verified application for issuance of a depreciation authority order related to smart meter devices. In June, Spire filed a request for depreciation order that would authorize the company to use a 5% annual depreciation rate for smart meter devices and installation based on a 20-year service life and no net salvage. Staff reviewed the request and supported allowing the 2 uniform system of accounts to track the smart meters and the smart meter installations with the 5% depreciation rate based on a 20-year service life. Smart meters could technically be part of either meter or communication accounts, so it seems reasonable to track them in the 2 identified accounts. The manufacturer of the smart meter states that service life of the battery is 20 years. No party opposed staff's recommendation. Public counsel stated that it did not oppose staff's recommendation. The Missouri School Board Association indicated that it supports staff's recommendation. So I support this order authorizing the accounting and depreciation terms for smart meters version 1. Commissioner Kenny?
I'm in support.
Commissioner Roop? I'm sorry, Commissioner Roop?
I'm in support as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Coleman?
I support the order.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
All right. All those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file numbers ER 2021-0025 and EO 2021-0023. This is in the matter of the application of Evergy Metro, Inc., DBA Evergy Missouri Metro, for authority to implement rate adjustments required by the company's approved fuel and purchase power cost recovery mechanism and true-up adjustment. Evergy Metro submitted the true-up amounts for the 7th recovery period of April 2019 through March 2020. The company also filed tariff sheets to adjust its fuel adjustment rate on October 1st. Staff reviewed the amounts and agreed with Evergy Metro's true-up calculation. That amount was then included with the company's calculation, including the total fuel and purchase power difference for accumulation period 10, which is January through June 2020, for the tariff rate adjustment for recovery period 10, which is October 2020 through September 2021. Staff reviewed the calculations of the interim fuel rate adjustment tariff and recommended that they be approved, subject to true-up. I support the order approving the fuel and purchase power true-up amounts and the interim rate adjustment, and this is version 1. Commissioner Kenny?
I am in support as well.
Commissioner Roop?
I support the changes, yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in support.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
Great. All those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file numbers ER 2021-0022 and ER 2021-0024. This is in the matter of the adjustment of Union Electric Company, DBA Ameren Missouri's fuel adjustment clause for the 34th accumulation period and true up for the 31st recovery period. So similar to the last order, Ameren Missouri filed the true up for its FAC recovery period 31, which is October 2019 through May of 2020, and a tariff sheet to adjust its fuel adjustment rate for recovery period of October 2020 through May of 2021. Ameren's true up for the 31st recovery period shows an over recovery of $233,028 before interest calculations were included. Staff reviewed the total true-up amount of $315,007 under recovery and recommended that it be approved and included in the calculations for the fuel and purchase power amounts to be recovered for the accumulation period 34. Ameren's fuel adjustment rate for the next recovery period 34 was reviewed by staff. Staff recommended it be approved on an interim basis, subject to true-up and prudence reviews. No other responses were received. I support the order approving the true-up and interim fuel purchase power adjustment, and this is also version 1. Commissioner Kinney?
I support the order.
Commissioner Roop?
I support the order as well.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in support.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file numbers SA 2021-0017. This is in the matter of Missouri American Water Company's application for a certificate of convenience and necessity, authorizing it to install, own, acquire, construct, operate, control, manage, and maintain a sewer system in and around the city of Hallsville, Missouri. In July, Missouri American filed an application for a CCN for a sewer system that it would require from the city of Hallsville. Notice was provided and Boone County Regional Sewer District applied to intervene. Missouri American opposes the intervention request and thinks that the sewer district's interests are not different from the general public. The sewer district opposes the CCN application and states that it does have an interest that is unique and different from that of the general public. The sewer district provides wastewater services in Boone County, which includes the Hallsville area. This order grants Boone County's regional sewer district's application to intervene. Their interests are different than the general public in that they may be adversely impacted by a final order in this matter. So I do believe that they meet the standards in the Commission's rules for intervention and recommend that we approve the order as drafted version 1. Commissioner Kinney?
Yes, I agree that they meet the standards and support the order.
Thank you. Commissioner Roop?
Yes, I agree. They should be allowed to intervene in the case.
Commissioner Coleman?
I agree also that they should have the opportunity to intervene.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted, version 1, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
The order is approved 5-0. All right, final order this morning is file number GO 2021-0057. This is in the matter of Spire, Missouri, Inc., DBA Spire, Missouri East and Spire, Missouri West, filing of its proposed weather normalization adjustment rider tariff sheets. Spire filed tariff sheets to update its weather normalization adjustment rider, and the tariff sheets have an October 1 effective date. Staff reviewed the filings, which will increase a typical residential customer's bill by about $1.12 a month due to warmer than normal weather in the company's service territories, and recommended that they be approved. No other responses were received. I recommend that we support this order, which for the first time today is version 2. Commissioner Kenny.
I'm in support as well.
Commissioner Roop.
I'm supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
And Commissioner Holzman.
I support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted, version 2, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. That concludes tariffs and new orders today. Again, we do have 2 case discussions and 1 other discussion. So first up, case discussion is file number EX 2020-006. This is the post-hearing agenda discussion that we started a couple weeks ago. Judge Clark is on the line, as is Judge Woodruff, to assist us in this case discussion. I'd like to start off by saying over the last few weeks since we started this, remember we started I think 3 weeks ago and then we delayed last week. In that time period, since we had our first round of discussions on this, I've really been digging into the to the potential impacts and looking at the experiences in other states, and looking at particularly Oregon and Montana, and a little bit in Idaho. I've grown concerned about some of the customer impacts of moving forward on the cogeneration portion of this new rule under the existing PURPA rules. Now, FERC has published rules that are set to go into effect at the end of this year, unless there are legal challenges to that, which then could potentially delay that. But those new rules that they've published clarify some of the issues that I have as far as locking in rates at the beginning of a contract for long terms. The new rules allow for costs to be adjusted to more closely track the actual cost of providing power at the time that power is delivered. I think that those new FERC rules on PURPA are going to give commissions the flexibility to make sure that we don't have cost overruns for consumers like we've seen in other states. Some of those other states have actually tried to or started the process of rolling back their rules under the existing PURPA rules. So I would like to withdraw the cogen portion of this rule, set up a working group for the current language and doing a new rule under the newly proposed PURPA language that's been published at FERC, and basically take another shot at this under the new PURPA rules. Now, I do think that if we do that, and if we all agree to do that, that we should continue with the net metering revisions that are in this rulemaking. I think the stakeholders appeared to indicate that those rules could go forward, even if we withdrew the others. So if Judge Woodruff, do you agree that we would be able to withdraw the cogeneration rule and rescissions in Chapter 3, but continue with the net generation or net metering rules?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, that's what I would like to propose for the commission to discuss. So, Commissioner Kinney, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, considering the complications as you mentioned them regarding the cogeneration, I can support that, your position on that issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Roop.
Yeah, I'm not going to support that position. I think we should move forward with the small cogeneration rule amendments, and we should include all the amendments proposed by Renew Missouri, specifically requiring, contracts for a minimum 15 years for small and cogeneration facilities and a megawatt capacity of up to 5 megawatts. I think we should continue to move forward. I think those amendments by Renew Missouri recognize, FERC's beliefs that small and cogen facilities of 5 megawatts or less, they don't have access to the wholesale energy markets in a non-discriminatory manner. So I am typically like to act when we have the opportunity to act. I don't like to defer, or as we like to say in this commission, kick the can down the road. And I'm not a big fan of waiting on the federal government to do stuff. I think we have a clear path forward, and I would propose that we continue on.
Thank you, Commissioner. I certainly am sympathetic to those comments about kicking the can down the road. Not my favorite thing to do, but I do appreciate your comments. Commissioner Coleman?
My position is more in line with your statements, Mr. Chairman, so I would support your position on this, as it is also mine.
Thank you. Commissioner Holzman?
Well, I think this is a pretty difficult discussion to have. I agree with Commissioner Roop in most of what he says, in sentiment. The issue is, as a past advocate for a higher interconnectivity amount, we started out in the legislature back when this bill was first passed, and it's capped it at 100 kW. And going from 100 kW to 1 megawatt has been something we've been trying to accomplish in the legislature, since that happened. And so that would seem to be a good step in the right direction. And of course, anytime you can add more on, in my estimation, you're going in the right direction. But I also recognize that 1 megawatt behind the grid is already possible, and we've seen projects from on an individual basis. I think one of the IKEAs, or there's been some large consumers who can go higher than 100 kW if they're terminating all the power at consumption and not putting it back on the grid. I'm concerned that if we go forward with 1 megawatt, that it won't be a pirate victory. It also is not going to be the type of systemic, fundamental development that we're trying to get here. And if PURPA in January is going to essentially authorize 5 megawatts, and we realize that from 3 megawatt to 5 megawatt, you actually have an economic model that makes more sense for developers to want to actually invest in these systems, then I'm in support of actually waiting, doing a little more investigative research, and in hopes that at the end of the work docket that we would open, we would get to a place of 5. So my point is, I would rather go for 5 in 6 months than take 1 today, when I don't believe that 1 will be an ignition for that type of investment what we really need. So I'm going to support the chairman's position. As far as the contract time, this is where the work docket is going to have the opportunity to kind of discuss these issues, because on one hand, if you have a developer who's going for financing and the bank says, we're not going to give you a loan when it's only, could be changed in 2 to 4 years and we're not going to see that return, that could potentially stifle the development. On the other hand, if you lock them in for 15 years at an avoided cost rate that is essentially based on a fossil fuel market, where the cost of electricity is reflected in the cost of what coal and some of these other fossil fuels are costing, 15 years from now, the consumer may be worse off because they're locked into a rate that would otherwise be lower because renewables are coming on the system. So I'm in favor of doing a little deeper dive, having the groups come together, ask some questions that are going to get to the bottom of what the financial institutions need, to secure the loans for the financing and try to find that compromise that gets us up to 5 megawatts and allows for the development to go forward, because I think it's crucial that these projects happen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I agree with much of what you've said, and I don't want this to be an unnecessary delay. So we will be. It sounds like we have consensus. So we will be withdrawing that portion of the rule and coming back very soon with an order to set up the working group and what parameters we want the working group to answer, so that we can move as quickly as possible on the new PURPA rules when they move forward. So thank you for that. With that being decided, we can move down to the issues proposed on the net metering portion. And I believe the first question in the judge's memo there is on 21, but I don't think that needs a vote. That was just pointing out that some of the things needed read numbered, and I think those have been taken care of. So the first real discussion I think we have is issue 22 on keeping the definition in. I think that the issue here on 22, I think we should keep that definition in. I don't see any reason really to take it out, and I think that it will help clarify, 5 years from now when somebody's reviewing the rule, if we have that definition there. So I would propose keeping that definition in on 22. Commissioner Kinney?
I support that position.
Commissioner Roop?
Yeah, I can support that.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, yeah, that's right. Okay, Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in support of that position.
And Commissioner Holzman?
Yes, I agree. Keep it in.
All right. So that brings us to 23, related to OPC's suggestion to clarify the avoided fuel cost definition. Staff proposed a modified definition in subsection 1B, and I'm fine with staff's proposed modified definition. So I would support that. Commissioner Kinney?
Yeah, I concur.
Commissioner Roop?
Yeah, I support staff's modified definition.
Commissioner Coleman?
I support that definition.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I'm also in support.
Okay. Question 24. I do not think that we should remove the good cause language. I don't think there would be a good cause reason to not have at least 100,000 in insurance, but I think that that's the type of request that would have to come to the commission under the rule. So I don't feel compelled to remove it, and I think that there should be no change there. Commissioner Kinney?
Yeah, it's in the current rule, so I would agree with your statement.
Commissioner Roop?
Yeah, I would agree. The utilities have not shown that this has been an issue in the past, so I don't see any need to make any changes now.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in agreement. I think we should leave it in.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I think we should leave it in. The net metering rule goes beyond just the IOU utilities, and someone may want to use it from a municipal standpoint. So I think we leave it in.
Okay. Next is question 25. This is a utility proposal to remove dates from standard language and add, quote, as revised from time to time, end quote. I don't support that proposal. I know that there can be a lot of impacts from inverter requirements and additional requirements for the 2018 version of the IEEE 1547 code, but that should have more in-depth discussions with stakeholders before potentially applying it here. So I don't support the utilities proposal on that one. Commissioner Kinney?
I'm neutral on that, but I'll just, I'll agree with you.
Thank you. Commissioner Roop?
I actually would agree with the utilities. I think the change would mean that we don't have to update the rule every time there's a we update a technical standard. So, but
Okay. Commissioner Coleman?
No, this is a no for me. I'm in support of your position as stated, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Holzman?
I also support the chairman's position. I would be concerned that a technical standard may not be applied to an older system, and I support the chairman's position.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is question 26. I don't think I support including this additional section suggested by the utilities here. I mean, it may be true that the RTOs are requiring higher accreditation requirements, but I have concerns that the other stakeholders may not have had notice on this comment and didn't get a chance to respond to know the full impacts of what this would be. And so I do not support 26. Commissioner Kinney?
Yeah, because no one else had an opportunity to respond, I do not think we should include it.
Thank you. Commissioner Roop?
yeah, I agree. This seems like it's just creating more administrative barriers for net metering customers, so it's not needed.
Commissioner Coleman?
I agree. It's not needed.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I agree with Commissioner Roop's position that this will just create artificial barriers.
Okay. Next up is question 27. This deals with taking the application from being included in the rule and putting it on the commission's website. I don't see a need to remove it from the rule. I think that we should keep it in the rule. And I'm fine with putting it on the website, but I don't think that we need to. I don't think we need to remove it from the rule. So, I mean, I think if everybody agrees to keep the application in the rule, I still think that other changes in the proposed rule suggested by staff, like changing agreement to application and the signature receipt application by installers, should be kept. So that's my position on 27. Commissioner Kinney?
I agree with your position.
Thank you. Commissioner Roop?
I also agree with your position, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in agreement also.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I support the chairman's position.
Thank you. That brings us to 28, which is related to the prior question. Utilities were concerned here that if the language in section 7 is added, that it makes it more burdensome to get physical signatures, and states that electronic signatures are common for installers. I don't think the requirement to have signatures would restrict the use of electronic signatures, but I'm fine with adding language clarifying that electronic signatures are permissible here. So I would support including language clarifying that electronic signatures are okay. Commissioner Kinney?
Yeah, I support that clarification.
Commissioner Roop?
Yeah, electronic signatures are used all the time, so go ahead. It should be allowed.
Commissioner Coleman?
I'm in agreement with that.
And Commissioner Holzman?
Yes, I agree.
All right. So question 29, I think should be consistent with the prior question about the application and putting it on the website. So to be consistent, take out the reference and incorporated in the incorporated by reference. Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Back to that last one. I want to make sure that we have language that says it's permissible but not required on the electronic signature. If that wasn't clear.
Yes, I think we are adding language that clarifies that they are permissible. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's the intent there. Thank you. On to question 29, and again, to be consistent with the prior question, I think that we take out the reference to the website and incorporate it by reference. Commissioner Kinney,
I concur.
Commissioner Roop,
I agree.
Commissioner Coleman,
I agree.
and Commissioner Holzman.
I support the chairman's position.
Okay, so that brings us to 30 and 31, which were suggested corrections to references. I don't think that probably requires any discussion. I think those corrections just have been made. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right, so that concludes the discussion on this. Judges, does that give you everything you need? Have we covered what you need?
I believe it does cover everything. There may be some other references changes that will need to be changed because of the withdrawal of the cogeneration rule, but we'll bring that back to you. I don't think it's going to require any discussion, just technical things.
Okay, thank you, Judge. All right, so that brings us to the next case discussion, file number MX 2020-0357. This is an emergency manufactured housing rulemaking case discussion. Judge DePel, are you here for that?
I am.
All right. Please set up the discussion.
Yes, this is a proposed emergency rule from the Manufactured Housing Department. The current rule requires manufactured home installers to renew their training, and it's contemplated to be an in-person training. So what the manager has proposed is that be changed so that the in-person training can be held in other methods or postponed. And so this proposed rule makes that change. We would go ahead and file a permanent amendment. A proposed emergency rule can just be effective for 180 days. So we would propose a permanent amendment at the same time to the rule to make that change going forward.
Okay, so essentially the question for the case discussion is, does the commission want to begin the formal emergency and permanent rulemaking process on this issue? And I think that we should. Commissioner Kinney?
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%.
Commissioner Roop?
I'm in agreement.
Commissioner Coleman?
I agree also.
And Commissioner Holzman?
I'm in agreement.
All right, so that's clear direction. Do you need a vote to move forward, or is that sufficient?
I don't believe I need a formal vote. Once we receive the appropriate permissions back from the governor's office and the department, I will bring a formal order finding necessity to agenda. That should be in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes our case discussions. We do have one other discussion today. This is on the 2021 Gas Pipeline Safety Program Base Grant application. I believe Natel and Kathleen are on the line for this.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Natel. The Pipeline Safety Program is approximately 60% funded by federal grant. So each year we have to apply for the grant funding. We bring the application to the Commission for authorization to request that or to submit that application. By applying, we are agreeing to meet certain federal requirements, which also includes the requirement that they come in and review our program. And as part of their review of our program, they review documents and materials related to our inspections and that the utilities have provided to us. So Kathleen's also on the phone if you have specific questions about the program or the grant document. But at this time, we're asking your approval to go ahead and submit the application.
Okay, and this is something that we do pretty much every year, right? We've been participating in this program for a while.
Yes, 1960, something like that, and we request approval every year.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I think we should authorize the application again this year. Commissioner Kinney,
I'm in agreement.
Commissioner Roop,
I agree.
Commissioner Coleman,
I concur.
and Commissioner Holzman.
I'm in agreement.
All right, and that does require a vote. Is that right, Natal?
Yes, please.
All right, so I'll go ahead and move that the commission approve the submission of the 2021 Gas Pipeline Safety Program base grant application and certification to
Any
PHMSA.
seconds it?
Seconded by Commissioner Kinney. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion is approved 5-0. Thank you, Natal and Kathleen. That
Thank you.
concludes all of our discussions for today, so we will move to scheduling. Wednesday, September 23rd, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. Evergy will do a TOU presentation on ER 2018-0145 and ER 2018-0146. The company is going to provide details of their education, marketing, and outreach efforts to customers on their TOU programs, as well as subscription numbers. That will be at the end of the agenda meeting on the 23rd. Thursday, the 24th, we have an evidentiary hearing in EC 2020-0252. That's Edwards v. Evergy, Missouri West at 9 a.m. in room 310. Judge Jacobs is presiding. The hearing will be in person, though some participants may be joining via WebEx. Wednesday, September 30th, agenda at 10:15 a.m. Wednesday, September 30th through Thursday, October 1st, we have an evidentiary hearing in EU 2020-0350. This is Evergy's application for an AAO related to COVID-19 related expenses. That'll be at 9 a.m. in room 310, Judge Jacobs presiding. Wednesday, October 7th, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. Monday, the 12th, is a state holiday. And then Wednesday, October 14th, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. The FRI Symposium will also be held that day for 2020, which will be virtual. Are there any questions, concerns, or requests regarding scheduling through October 14th? All right, hearing none, that concludes all the business coming before the body. Thank you, commissioners. We made it through a pretty complicated agenda today, so thank you for that. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We are adjourned.